Okay, my name's Christopher. I have HSV2 down here, and this is why herpes is okay. So I have HSV2 down here. Sorry. I'm choking on my own stigma. So I guess we'll start off with a story time, and we'll try to make these quick and efficient. But knowing me, it'll take years and years and years to make a video. Okay, I was diagnosed in September 2020, and before that, I had no idea that herpes was actually not a big deal. And it was completely extrapolated by a stigma that doesn't actually make any sense. And I'm here to tell you in this video why it's okay and why you don't have to suffer in silence. And going forward with more and more videos, I'll touch on other topics because I think it's very important that we speak up about this for a lot of people suffering in silence. So let's do a little story time of how I got it. So long story short, met someone, got along with them, met up with them, engaged in activities. Now, did not discuss sexual history prior. Maybe you should do that. Maybe you shouldn't do that. Who really knows nowadays? People got feelings, people got desires. Just live your best life. And I did not use protection, but I will include this, that protection doesn't prevent transmission, but it can certainly help. So this person did not disclose to me. We are on good terms now, though. It doesn't really matter. But with that being said, what I think happened was we engaged in activities one time. This may or may not have caused her to develop an outbreak, and then on subsequent days, I engaged in more activities with her and possibly contracted HSV2 from her having an outbreak. Now, to my knowledge, I've discussed this with her. Did she know she had an outbreak? Did she know she had herpes prior to this? I have no idea. But doing in research and doing all sorts of education on herpes, it's entirely possible that people can have herpes dormant in their body for their entire life or until a primary outbreak happens. And not everything you see online or not every first outbreak is going to be that noticeable or something you're going to actually tell. So who knows? Maybe she got it many, many years ago and she just had her first outbreak when I met her. Who really knows? Or what if I had herpes the whole time? So the whole circumstances of this don't really matter. At the end of the day, I have it, they had it. You probably have it if you're watching this video. And it's okay because the stigma doesn't make a lot of sense. And even someone like me who had a very judgmental perspective on herpes prior to getting it can, I guess, unlearn the misinformation they had or the judgment they had, because we have no reason to learn unless we get this, I guess, personally affecting us. So let's talk about why it's okay. It's okay to have herpes because we've been living in a world where herpes is something that a lot of people have, but they just don't either accept it or know. And when you go out there and you say, oh, everybody has herpes, let's just backtrack a little bit. Herpes is actually a family of viruses, like 8 different viruses that infect human beings. There's over 100 herpes viruses, but a lot of people in society, without doing any research, people only think that herpes means genital herpes, which is what I have. And so when I say everyone has herpes, if their definition is HSV2, not everyone has it. I'm right, they're right. So why herpes is okay is because the entire stigma is not medically backed. Now, first things first, let's just say this. All cold sores are herpes. And if most people have ever gotten a cold sore in their life, then they themselves have herpes. It's just oral herpes, but it's been labeled as this cute little cold sore thing because for some reason we have to keep the word herpes associated with HSV2, or at least genital herpes, because genital herpes could be HSV1 as well. But with that being said, if you know that most people have either oral herpes or genital herpes, and you believe that they're essentially the same concept, regardless of the fact that they're looked at differently, you don't actually have to believe in the stigma because you technically know more than the people who are still judgmental. And if someone out there has a cold sore and doesn't believe they have herpes and stuff, honestly, just leave them alone. I mean, they're going to find out the hard way one day if they were to ever, I guess, pass it up here or down there to someone. And then they're going to be kind of shocked and surprised Pikachu face. And all we can really do is say, hey, that cold sore you have, that's herpes. And guess what? If you think we're dirty or we're judged or we should be stigmatized, you should too, because I don't see the difference. Now, another reason why herpes is okay is because when you really look into the stigma is not based on herpes. The stigma is based on sex. And that is because there's always going to be like religion or cultural upbringing or different philosophies or different lifestyle decisions and views and perceptions that are completely subjective to someone else. So when you really think about herpes, it was never about you getting herpes. It was about you having sex and then you, I guess, developing herpes from that. Because the same people who get cold sores aren't looked at the same way as the people who have genital herpes. So it was never about having herpes. It was just the fact that you got something through sex. I'll give you another point. If there is someone who slept with 100 people and got herpes, and someone that slept with 100 people and didn't get herpes, the person that didn't get herpes would probably still be judged by society just because they slept with a bunch of people, which is totally fine. Live your best life. But this is what I'm saying. It's less so about getting herpes. It's more so about judgment towards a lifestyle. And a lifestyle that doesn't even necessarily make a lot of sense, because I slept with 4 people before I got it. So it's not just like everyone that gets it sleeps with like millions and millions of people. And I'll even say this too, for all the people out there who are bringing up God or bringing up you should have waited until marriage into this. Guess what? If 2 God-fearing people, virgins on their wedding night, waited until marriage, and one of them had HSV1 orally from their parent or from a family member, or someone kissing them on the mouth as a child and contracting oral herpes to them, what's to say that on their wedding night, beautiful, virgin, bride and groom, one of them might be able to give the other one genital herpes. And guess what? These 2 people who waited their whole life to have sex because they were fearing God and wanted to do it right, one of them might end up with HSV1 down there, but you should have waited till marriage, right? And that's the point I'm trying to say. At the end of the day, herpes is not a big deal. It's just viewed in society as this terrible boogeyman, but it makes no sense. And when you question the stigma and you question people's beliefs and you look into it yourself, you realize that as long as you feel okay about yourself, no one else's external opinion can change that. So the less power you give the stigma, the less power it's gonna have over you. All right, more videos coming soon. That was just a terrible rant. I'm probably just not even gonna upload this video. Just kidding, I will. Love you, miss you. Have a good day. See you in the next video.